Nickelodeon, the first kids network, was known for its comedy cartoons through the 90s, but action was something it long ignored, like the screams I hear outside my house. Before Avatar: The Last Air Conditioner, the first comedy cartoon with some action elements was My Life as a Teenage Robot.
5 o'clock, get a call to go blading at the skate park down by the mall.
And then there was Danny Phantom in 2004.
He's a phantom.
As part of the Patreon review raffle,
Crybaby PNG
has requested Danny Phallic, ghost hunter extraordinaire. He hunts ghosts and then fucks them, while also having one of the best intro theme songs of the 2000s that did not involve bowling for soup.
Young Danny Phantom, he was just 14 when his parents built a very strange machine. It was designed to view a world unseen. He's gonna catch 'em all 'cause he's Danny Phantom.
Like the theme song says, yo, Danny Fenton was just 14 when his parents built Stargate SG-1. For reasons unknown, likely stupid reasons, Danny took a look inside of the reality-altering portal that leads into the ghost dimension. He accidentally presses a pretty obvious visible button which zaps his ass and alters his DNA structure. Now Danny Fenton is Danny Phantom.
When he first woke up, he realized he had snow white hair and glowing green eyes. He could walk through walls, disappear, and fly. He was much more unique than the other guy.
He's got ghost powers, and much like Spider-Man's Spidey senses, he detects ghosts with his ghost breath.
Oh no, this isn't good.
Danny's one of those heroes who gradually gains powers over the course of the show or whenever it's convenient to the plot. Now what fans pointed out is when Danny transforms, his skin is slightly tanner, so it's likely this means Danny switches into his own body double that's also the charred corpse from when it was zapped. As much as this concept could easily transform into an Unbreakable type superhero deconstruction, the show is mostly about Danny trying to balance his superhero duties with his high school life in an episodic Monster of the Week episodes. Bullies, prom, love triangles, stuff like that. Surviving high school with his two best friends, Tucker and Sam. Tucker Foley, the techno geek, who's usually the irresponsible one that comes up with ways to abuse Danny's powers.
Let me get this straight. You can just walk into people and take over their bodies from the inside?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Danny, if you could control a girl for just about 2 minutes.
And Sam Manson, the only goth girl I have zero interest in. Incredible. She just never looked goth to me in that outfit. Sam's the more responsible one, but also impulsive, showing her vegetarianism and activism stuff down everyone's throat. Sort of like Haley of American Dad. She's okay.
And how do we greet the brand new day?
With a smile on your face and an attitude of gratitude.
I'm a creature of the night, doomed to a family of mourning people.
Think about this main trio. You got the main character with his geeky black techno-whiz friend and his female, slightly more level-headed friend slash love interest. It's Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Same dynamic. The Nick show about 3 friends following a guide to survive high school. Well, really, this type of main guy with his wacky black friend and 1 female friend slash love interest has been done so many times before. Has anyone noticed this?
A ghost? That can't be right.
Looks like we'll be staking out the school all night.
In that case, I need to use the little ghost hunter's room. Hold these gloves, son. Where I'm going, there's no need for that much power.
Outside of school, Danny's parents have no clue about his powers, despite the fact they're wannabe Ghostbusters who hardly ever find ghosts. Of course, it's the goofy dad and level-headed mom dynamic. Oh, and a stern, responsible older sister. They're typically useless in capturing ghosts, but the devices they create to fight and capture them become useful to Danny.
What happened? Where's the ghost?
My parents have their moments.
It's one of those, ooh, look at that cool device. Look at that device type of cartoons. They captured Ghost with the Fenton Thermos. I'm so bummed that Nick never made this into a real product. It seems like such an obvious piece of merchandise. At the same time of using these devices, Danny retreads on a bunch of superhero tropes. Spidey senses, balancing school and hero work, a very obvious secret identity, the Green Goblin basically, and let's not forget all the cool comic book cover title title cards, I think Danny Phantom are among the best title cards for any cartoon. All these elements together, I like to call this show Spider-Man meets Ghostbusters. I think the main appeal of the show is that it's a lot of specific familiar elements from other stories mixed together to create something new, but also familiar and welcoming. And if you listen to the original unused theme song, it's pretty much the Ghostbusters theme, or Queen's The Invisible Man. They're all kind of the same song.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Never had a real good friend, not a boy or a girl. No one knows what I've been through. Let my fire unfold.
Now, I know you've done a great job with any superhero story when I'm equally or more interested in the villains. Danny Phantom has one of the most memorable rogues galleries since the Powerpuff Girls. Among the most notable are Skulker, the cybernetic ghost bounty hunter, Sidney Poindexter, the nerd who haunts bullies, Johnny 13, a biker loyal to his GF and commands a shadow creature, and I think the most popular villain would be Ember McLean, a rock star that grows more powerful the more attention she receives. That's a cool idea. I think I'll steal it. You all should know by now how much I love my fictional animated musicians. Too bad she only made one song.
You should not doubt me. You will remember my name. Oh, after you will remember.
Now, last but possibly not least is Danny Phantom's ultimate enema, his arch rival, his Joker to the Batman, his Lex Luthor to Superman, his staircase to Professor Xavier, the one and only Box Ghost.
Beware! I am the Box Ghost. I have power over all containers, cardboard and square.
Nah, just kidding. It's Vlad Plasmius, a rich asshole who hates Danny's dad and wants to go ghost in Danny's mom.
Please come in.
Vladdy, my man, it's good to... Hello? Hello?
What's with the green and gold?
Jazz, hello? Football helmets, jerseys, cheese heads. He's a Packers fanatic.
Also, Vlad is a fan of the Packers, so depending what team you root for, this could be a reason to love or hate him more. I don't care for sports, but living in Texas will be ostracized if we don't attend at least one barbecue to commemorate the Cowboys.
Dun 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 dun. Stampede!
What's so great about Vlad and Danny's rivalry, for one thing, is Vlad has all the same powers as Danny, just with more experience, and they know each other's secret identity.
The Ghost Boy is Jack's son?
Yes, no one can tell Danny Phantom and Fenton are the same person. Clark Kent will tell you this was a bad disguise. With knowing each other's identity, they sort of have a truce amongst themselves that they can't interfere with each other or they'll reveal the other's identity. It's a pretty interesting dilemma. I admit, I get a little giddy whenever Danny won against Vlad and other villains, not through violence, but by outsmarting them. There's a lot of great villain moments. My favorite episodes were usually the ones that involved the bad guys and sometimes the hero working together. I wasn't expecting it, but Danny Phantom has some good character growth, world building, and world developing. You even see tender moments with lesser characters. It really gets you attached to them. I think a character that doesn't get enough credit is Danny's vice principal, Mr. Lancer. Sure, he's the typical strict teacher, but also tries very hard to be hip with the kids, and failing miserably to do so. He's also voiced by Ron Perlman, aka Will Ferrell with extra cauliflower. And instead of swearing out of rage, Lancer shouts names of classic literature.
Great Gatsby! Chicken soup for the soul! Lord of the Flies! They're slipping right through my hands!
Danny Phantom's an episodic series, but there's story progression. We go from living in a city unaware of the supernatural to a world where people adjust to ghost as a daily occurrence. It's not like every single Ghostbusters sequel, spin-off, and reboot that's just like, oh, that ghost incident in the last story? That never happened. Though, looking at Danny Phantom through the eyes of an adult, there are some scenes that should be far more traumatic and horrifying than the show portrays. It's still rooted in being a light comedy, but there were a few moments that pushed the Y7 rating, definitely a lot darker than the creator of the show's earlier cartoon.
Timmy is an average kid that no one understands.
Artistically, it's easy to say Danny Phantom is just recycling the art style of Butch Hartman, creator of this and his previous cartoon, The Fairly OddParents. I mean, wow, look at that hairstyle. Butch Hartman never drew that hairstyle 10 million times before. The repetitive style is true, but my defense is Danny Phantom is a more refined version of the OddParents style. The Fairly OddParents has flat, very simple, minimalist backgrounds. The camera is always at a flat eye level angle. Danny Phantom has more detail going on, more dynamic camera angles, and often a 3D camera rotation.
I'm going ghost!
The backgrounds definitely aren't as simple. Not that simple backgrounds are always a bad thing, there's a balance to it. Simplistic backgrounds like these have to walk a line of being simple, yet distinct enough so that the audience can tell what it represents. Oh god, what happened to the colors? They really play around with the color scheme. Whenever there's a supernatural occurrence, the background shifts to green and purple. Danny Phantom himself is black and white with some blue shading. His arch-villain, Vlad, inverts his color scheme with some red. Altogether, it makes me think of a blacklight poster, and if you notice, the foliage outside in the daytime is orange, so it's the perfect cartoon to watch around Halloween.
Please don't say you've suddenly fallen for me. That line is so last semester.
And it took me 2 seasons to realize this, but look at the jumpsuits for the parents. Orange and blue are complementary colors, of course, as their daughter has both those colors on her outfit. I just noticed that. That's kind of adorable. And I guess the black and white hair on the dad would correlate to Danny. It's impressive how much thought went into the colors. Although with marathoning the show for this video, I got tired of the color green. Like, everything in this show has green or this weird Photoshop outer glow effect. This series really has style and substance. Overall, it's a great show, until we got to season 3.
No is right, Danny.
Many fans despise the 3rd and final season. It's often attributed to a main writer, Steve Marmol, leaving the show. The worst was the final episode, Phantom Planet. Oh my god. That episode is just filled with so much... What? Huh? Why? What? I was gonna go into more detail about season 3, but there's just so much wrong. It's a video for another day. It's just like, what happened?
Hey guys, it's me, Butch Hartman. How you doing? Thanks for watching my channel this week. This week I'll be drawing the Danny Phantom characters as if they were 10 years older. Check it out.
Just for the hell of it, creator Butch Hartman made a video drawing where Danny Phantom and his friends would end up in 10 years. It was mostly brainstorming and what-if scenarios like Tucker becoming a Steve Jobs type inventor or Sam joining in on the ghost hunting. I personally refuse to accept this as canon since not one of them ended up in a Scandinavian prison, and obviously Tucker should be presumed dead after pissing off the wrong guys by stealing Bitcoin over the deep web.
Who knows, you might just see that actually animated someday.
Once again, this was just the creator having fun, but you never know. Nickelodeon and the rest of Hollywood have been cashing in on 90s nostalgia, so in 10 years we'll get the 2000s nostalgia boom. Danny Phantom, like any superhero, is definitely a franchise that can be continued and rebooted for generation to generation. I bet we'll get a live-action Danny Phantom film in the style of all the other comic book movies. Or maybe Nick will do a live-action teen drama like MTV did with Teen Wolf. Oh my god, they would so do that. Like, when or if that does happen, you know who said it first. Me. I said it. Just now. Who knows what'll happen. I'd just be excited to see a whole new interpretation and style for these characters, especially the villains.
Everybody's mood is lifted, as though some gloomy malevolence has been shooed away. They've got their spirit back.
They're not the only ones, Mr. Lancer. They're not the only ones.
So he can fly through walls, turn invisible, overshadow people's bodies, shoot energy blasts out of his hands. And he's not only going through his first year of high school as a freshman, he's also going through his first year of having his ghost powers.
I'm talking about my powers, my problems?
His best friends know his secret identity. Tucker, who's also 14. He's the wisecracker.
Always ready to fight.
And he's also kind of the tech geek. He has a lot of technical gadgets that he plays with.
Sam is his female friend, his best friend, and she's a goth girl. And
she's the Wednesday Addams of the show.
Why can't they accept me for who I am?
There's a character out there in the show that everybody can relate to.
The world premiere of Danny Phantom, April 3rd at 9:30, 8:30 Central, right after the Kids' Choice Awards. Not seeing is believing.